I hope you're all enjoying the holidays. I have a delicious roast pork waiting for me. And in the meantime, I'm going to do a podcast on the AD interview that he did of Cheryln Cadle. I wasn't going to do this, but she said so many things that irritated me and annoyed me that I felt that I had to do this review, this analysis. This is not about AD. He's just like the vehicle. He's the person that interviewed her. I'm strictly going to keep this professional. It's going to be about what she said, what I disagree with, what I agree with, whether or not I think she's telling the truth, where I think she's fooling people and enticing people. So I'm going to get to the point. The first thing that she said that really irritated me, or which really made me think she doesn't really understand Chris Watts at all. She doesn't understand his psyche. She doesn't understand how manipulative he is, was when she said that she truly believed that he'd found God. How anyone can believe that Chris Watts has found God is beyond me. I mean, I'm always skeptical of criminals who commit terrible crimes. They're in prison for a year or two, and all of a sudden they claim to have found God. I think it's BS. Chris is just using religion in the hopes that people will have a better perspective of him, in the hopes that he can fool people in the court, lawyers, attorneys. He can fool people into believing that he's a changed man and that he's a good person now. It's just another mask he's wearing. He doesn't believe any of it. I mean, he is as full of it as you can get. Chris Watts, a total manipulator. I don't believe anything that he says. So for her to say that she actually believes that he's found God, that just blows my mind. It shows me that she really doesn't understand covert narcissists and sociopaths. But also she said that she doesn't believe that Chris would turn on his family. She doesn't believe that the narrative that Chris Watts is now going with his first confession. I don't know for sure whether he's decided to go with his first confession or not. I know that Cindy Watts wants him to be cleared of killing the children. I know that she's very bitter and angry that he's in prison. I know that she doesn't want him there, regardless of whether he's guilty or not. I mean, Cindy Watts doesn't care whether her son is guilty. She feels that he's entitled to do what he did, that he's entitled to be out and not receive any punishment. That's understandable. We all know that. But, Chris Watts annihilated his entire family in the most brutal way. And for her to sit there and say that she cannot believe that Chris Watts would now say that Shanann did it and turn on his family, that just shows me once again that she does not understand covert narcissists. Because I don't believe that anything that comes out of his mouth can be taken as truth without verification. It's like this, I've done another episode on this hoax co-worker that claimed that Chris went to the office the morning or the night that he committed the murders. And you had so many people believing, him. You had creators, dedicating entire episodes to what this guy had said. These creators dedicated episodes to a hoax and a liar without even bothering to research whether or not this person was telling the truth or not, all for clicks and views. And you have Mrs. Jules talking about how, oh yeah, Chris Watts did go into the office that morning and I believe that other people were involved based on all these lies. I mean, she's now trying to backtrack and say that she already thought that people were involved, but all of these hoaxes that people are coming out with, all of these pretenders, these hoax people, these people who are telling lies, they're doing it because they know what the popular narrative is, and they're just doing it to reel you in. And the popular narrative is that there were other people involved, which there's no evidence of. And, Cheryln Cadle is also now saying that she still thinks that the investigation is open. It's a closed investigation. They closed the investigation when they got their man. I personally don't believe that there is an ongoing investigation into anything. And a lot of people, they read too much into the fact that the CBI agents went back to the prison to interview Chris. There's a lot of reasons that people do that CBI agents will go back to interview a killer. I personally don't believe there's going to be any arrest of anyone anytime soon, just like I don't believe that Chris Watts 35C is going to go anywhere. I mean, Chris Watts is never getting out. I'm sure of that, unless he escapes or he dies. But, you know, the hoax co-worker, the guy pretending that he lived down the street from Chris Watts and all that kind of stuff, he told people what they want to believe, because so many people want to see Nicole Kessinger in jail. And so he was just feeding into that narrative. And he did it very, very well because so many people believed in it. I think that Cheryln Cadle is someone who kind of tells half-truths and full truths. And she's kind of like, I don't believe that she directly goes out to be deceitful, but I do believe that she's trying to sell a book. And when you're trying to sell a book, you're going to try and sell it to the best of your knowledge, even if your ability, even if you embellish a little bit. Like she said, there's something I know that no one else knows. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that Cheryln Cadle knows anything more about this case than anybody else. I believe that's complete and utter rubbish. I do agree with her when she says that Cindy Watts is upset that her son is in prison. And that she doesn't want him there. That's, you know, everyone knows that. I do agree with her when she says that Kim Kaufman is lying. We all, you know, anyone with common sense knows that Kim Kaufman is lying. I don't know whether Chris Watts is going along with his first confession, or it's just his mother and this Kim Kaufman woman trying to get him to do so. But what I do know is that he's a pathological liar. And I think that he feeds people different narratives. I think he lies to people. I think he tells one person one thing and another person another thing. You know, he tells whatever lie suits him at the time. And for Cheryln Cadle to say that, knowing what he did, that he cannot believe that he would turn on his family and go back to blaming Shanann. Well, he already turned on his family when he discarded them in the worst possible way. There were a few buffering problems in the interview. That's why I don't really like lives that much. And obviously AD was trying to get people to go onto Patreon later for extra information. I don't believe there's anything extra that she knows that no one else knows. I think that's just the way that she's trying to sell her book. It's always, people always try to sell themselves on, I know something that you don't. I don't believe that she knows anything more than anybody else. I thought the interview, AD conducted the interview quite well. Like I said, I'm not a fan of AD in any way, shape or form. He knows how to dangle the carrot. But I think he conducted the interview very well. He's always been respectful to Cadle. And that's what you want to be when you're interviewing somebody. I'm not going to go into what I think of him as a person because that's a completely different topic. But, you know, I didn't learn anything more from the interview than what I already know about the case already. She did mention how she was sorry about the plagiarism in her first book. I thought her apology was very, very weak. You know, don't tell me that you don't know if you're copying pages and pages or paragraphs upon paragraphs of somebody else's work. Don't tell me that she didn't realize that she was doing that when she released the first book. I think she rushed the first book to cash in on, you know, the euphoria, the interest, the intrigue, and maybe she's trying to make things right with the second book. But, you know, I don't believe that she didn't know that she plagiarized the first book. I don't believe that 1 second. So I do think that she does tell some fibs. I think she lies when it suits her to sell her narrative, to sell her book, whatever. I do agree with her on some things, like I said, about Cindy Watts and about Kim Kaufman and about what they're trying to do. I mean, they're trying to control the narrative. The fact of the matter is, this is a closed case, whether we like it or not, whether you like it or not. And I'm just going to be honest, it's a closed case. There's no one else that's going to be arrested. And I will deal with the hoax co-worker that came that apparently came forward to tell, to spill the beans, as True Crime Rocket Science put it. He wasn't spilling any beans. He was just lying and feeding into the popular narrative to get whatever narcissistic supply he could get. But yeah, I didn't learn anything new from the Cheryln Cadle interview. I don't believe that she has any extra knowledge or any knowledge that no one else knows. I think that's just the way she's going to sell her book. And I just think that Chris Watts is just a manipulator and a liar, and nothing that he says can be completely believed until you get verification or confirmation. So that's my opinion on that whole thing.